Another work week begins. This week I'm wrapping up an informal research paper on the analyses that I've done, and I'm really looking forward to going to DC for the weekend.
When presenting to higher management, summarize your analyses in a succinct way and focus on the key takeaways. I spent some time organizing my thoughts and deciding what I would present. After work, I met with my tech committee lead for my mentorship group to discuss what we would present for our Break into Data session. I'll share some tips from it.
The main steps to apply to data roles is to build your skills online by taking courses and also learning a programming language. So I recommend Python, but you can also learn R. And then you'll also need a querying language, such as SQL. You'll also need to create a data portfolio website, and this is something that I emphasize throughout my videos. This is an example of how you can have numeric value in your resume, such as improved accuracy by 30% for predicting purchasing rates. So you want to be more specific than that, but that's just an example. For your cover letter, write about any internships or data-related projects that you've worked on, especially if you don't have any data roles yet. This is a data portfolio website that I recommend taking a look at. This website shows some of the data analytics portfolios that have different projects as well as data visualizations that they've done. You want to show multiple projects and also demonstrate your ability to write code. You want to be able to clearly communicate your findings and show that you're able to do this during the work setting. Strategies for applying to data roles. It is hard to get a data internship or position immediately while in college, so what I recommend is doing roles that have a data component, such as a research assistant or even a math tutor. Another tip is to have examples of your work readily available and make the projects related to the position you're applying for. So for example, I work in health tech, so I had a lot of health projects on my website. If you're interested in fintech, for example, have a lot of mock financial data that you've analyzed. You're not only tested on your technical skills, but interviews will also be testing how well you work with teams, lead others, and plan projects. So this is one of the best ways that you can formulate your response. It's called the STAR method: situation, task, action, and result. The situation is where you talk about the context, the task is talking about what you completed, and then the action is what you did and how you did it, and finally the result. So what is the thing that you accomplished and what is the impact on the business? One of the questions that I received, which I thought was really interesting, was you are at a restaurant with coworkers and you wanted medium rare steak, but they gave you well done. What do you do? So there's no right way to answer this, but it's just testing your behavioral skills. We also had a group discussion talking about what inspires people to pursue a role in tech. Feel free to answer one of these questions in the comments below as well.
The rest of my Monday involved progressing at boxing.
I have 2 meetings today, one to talk with my team about the status of our projects, and another with my manager, where we'll be talking about the findings of my informal research paper and how I will be presenting it to the director tomorrow.
The nature of my work is very independent, something you should consider if you're an aspiring data analyst. After work, I met up with a friend to try some different chocolates and a creme brulee crepe cake. After presenting my analysis, I took down some notes of my next steps and then headed to the office.
Needed to going to go climbing, and here it kind of looks similar to Manhattan, but there's less people walking around.
If you haven't already tried it, climbing is a great way to de-stress after work. I was excited to see that people bring their dogs to their climbing sessions. Since I was wrapping up on my conditions analysis paper, I started my new project of reporting annual client metrics.
Pick up a book at the Strand for my DC trip.
Made a slight detour to get boba and sit at Washington Square Park. Got a light-hearted book to get me in the vacation mood. Spent Friday running more SQL queries for the reporting. For some reason, I have seagulls who keep knocking at my window trying to get at my plants. Onwards to DC.
Princeton Junction. Princeton Junction, watch your step.
What's really cool about taking the Amtrak from New York to DC is that you cross 5 different states: New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. We arrived to a rainy DC. A nice warm curry for the weather. And some cold scoops of gelato.
Headed to my favorite bakery shop.
It's raining, but I got my favorite rain pants on. The cherry blossoms at this time of year are beautiful. One of the most informative tours is at the Capitol. You'll see amazing architecture and paintings and learn about the meeting place of the U.S. Congress. And back outside to admire the cherry blossoms. Escaping the rain and going into the National Gallery of Art. Spending some time walking around the Natural History Museum. So much to see that I could spend a night here. Nothing sparkles brighter than this 46-carat Hope diamond. The day has been monumental so far. The Renwick Gallery has one of my favorite installations. This was inspired by an earthquake and tsunami that shortened the day by 1.8 millionths of a second. A trip to DC isn't complete without seeing the White House and eating at Founding Farmers. The best place to see the cherry blossoms is at the tidal basin. It was a busy weekend because of the Cherry Blossom Festival. Saw the Jefferson Memorial and took a break at a baked joint. They have a famous sister bakery called Baked and Wired, and they also have the cupcakes here. Busboys and Poets is a great stop if you're a bookworm like me. I recommend the Karen restaurant for delicious Eritrean food. During college, I spent a semester in DC, so it was very nostalgic to be back. I even visited the same bakeries that I used to study at. Still amazing 7 years later.
Quick breakfast to start our day. Now, on to the zoo.
One of my favorite stops is the Smithsonian Zoo. We waited 25 minutes just to see a panda sleep. Still cute though. One of our last stops was to see the Lincoln Memorial. Grabbing some snacks for the train ride home back to New York.